Not had a great percentage of long pots. 1 in every 2 virtually being missed by O'Sullivan. Almost 1 in 3 by Stephen. So this is by no means a certainty. John just hit the nail on the head a few moments ago when we were talking about the shot he played from brown to the last red. The way he's cueing is hitting the ball so beautifully. And to do it without the power, John, that makes the pot a lot easier, doesn't it?
Oh, when he's cueing, it's just unbelievable. I mean, he just gets the cue through the white ball with no effort, so smooth, and that's how he gets so much spin, as you say, without any effort.
9.
Now the reds are open. He'd like to get on the red that's just above the black. If he could somehow get to that red, he'd clear the black for both corner pockets, and this could be a frame-winning opportunity. Even without that, you get the feeling it will be.
Is it worth the risk now, John, off the yellow to screw straight up through the gap?
Well, I was thinking of that, but Ronnie's having a look at alternative reds, and he's now looking at the brown as a possibility for position. Maybe he feels by playing for a red in the middle of the table, he's got a couple of reds to play for rather than just play for the one red. You're always a great believer in leaving yourself choices.
Yeah, I must admit,
30.
it certainly helps, because you can't always guarantee finishing on a sixpence. On a sixpence. We used to say that in the billiard halls, didn't we, on a sixpence, but I suppose it's on a 5p now. Needs to get rid of that red ASAP, and he's come too high for it now, so he'll have to play the bottom red of that little group of 4.
19. $20.
Well, that's an interesting stat. They've been playing here for like 8 or 9 days. There's a total tournament points, and as you can see there, there's only 24 points difference between the two players on total points throughout the whole tournament. 3,903, 3,879. This is a stats fest we've got now. Tournament balls
25.
potted. There's only 4 more balls been potted by Stephen Hendry. But the frame score, that's not looking too close at the minute.
26.
You're becoming a bit of an anorak, Willie, aren't you, on the quiet? They'll be calling us Statman and Robin.
Still struggling because of that red. Will it pot when the black goes on its spot? With the position of the red, it will. Just having the white ball cleaned. Michaela having to work hard this morning. Had to place the pink off its spot behind the pack on a couple of occasions. Now they clean the white.
$34.
It's looking quite ominous at the moment, John.
Yes, as we say, this is all about getting chances and taking them, and Stephen hasn't done that in the first 4 frames. And we all know with these champions that, and Stephen had mentioned it in actual fact in one of his press conferences, he couldn't afford to let Ronnie get in front of him, because Ronnie will get stronger, like Stephen does. Stephen gets stronger. Steve Davis used to be the same. As soon as they get a few frames in front, they get stronger. He had his opportunity yesterday, Stephen, when he led 4-1. And as you say, he's lost the last 6 frames. Looking like he could lose the next 7.
41.
Well, this completely opens the frame up. Doesn't have to worry about the 3 reds that are near
42.
cushions now. He can clearly win the frame with these next 5 reds in open play and 5 colours. He's had spells in this tournament where he's looked unbeatable, but he's also had spells in the tournament where he almost looks like he's not really interested, and you just got to hope, if you're his opponent, that he has a couple of those sessions where he seems to be not at ease with
49.
himself, because when he's at ease with himself, he's playing as good as I've seen him play.
50.
Yeah, but there's one thing we do know, don't we, Willie? He has tremendous respect for Stephen. So he ain't going to take his foot off the pedal, so to speak. Against
57.
Stephen Hendry, who he's... Well, that will be his goal, to try and
58.
equal or better whatever Stephen's done in the game. He'll have to go some, though, to do that. There you see the pot success for Ronnie. Very acceptable for Stephen. Well, that's probably a reflection of why he looks like losing 7 frames
65.
on the trot from 4-1 in front. Just this red and a colour, and he'll be 8-4 behind.
$66.
A round of applause tells you they know, we know, Hendry knows.
73.
He's lost 4 on the trot this morning.
74.
And the only thing missing from this morning's session, the way Ronnie's played, is a century. It's going to be tough to get one. He was a little unlucky in frame 9 where he broke down on 93.
80.
Left the angle, I
81.
think, to be able to nudge the other red into play. That's what he's tried to do. Maybe a little bit too low. So if he is, it's around the houses. He hasn't made his mind up yet. Well, if he's got the kiss after hitting the green.
87.
They're hard to please, this audience, aren't they?
They're getting used to it this morning, John. He's playing too good. Well, once again, no century, but the standard of play from O'Sullivan is outstanding. Stephen will be very disappointed. Could have
It's on here. This is dangerous. Couldn't see a safety. He knew it was risky. But sometimes you just force into playing the pot.
One.
Well, Stephen, as John mentioned, was forced into playing that pot, and you know that if you give Ronnie half a sniff the way he's playing this morning, he's going to score heavily. Every frame this morning has scored 40 or above. That's been his lowest break, 44 in frame 10. Everything else has been 93, 87, 57. How many will he get here?
4. 5.
'Couldn't get into the main bunch there, but full ball contact was always going to leave in the bottom red. He's got the full ball contact.
12.
Because he's now getting rid of this red, going into the bunch now is not really
13.
advantageous, so he'll be playing for a loose one.
$20. 21. 28.
Now, what sort of an angle has he got? Well, he's playing bottom and follow through, so back for the black.
29.
Now, could he play the cannon onto the reds? Just got to avoid the red near the top cushion, or just play for another loose one. That's what he's doing. Always had to
36.
judge the pace well there, because it wasn't obvious the red, but he's nicely on this. Up for the blue.
37. Forty-two. 43.
That's exactly where he didn't want to finish. That's why he's taking the pink now, because he can't get onto that red. Playing the pink, of course, means that red's going to be available that's loose. This is the key shot now, the next one. Position on 3/4 ball pink into the middle to open the reds, or half ball black to go into them from one cushion into the
49.
reds. Just coming around to look whether the value is to play the 3/4 ball pink. From this instance, I think that's the best value, because you'd be pushing a red over the left-hand corner and possibly over the right-hand corner if you play the pink 3/4 ball. So always, you've got to look at these kind of things, where the reds are being pushed to. And that's the reason he's left the 3/4 ball pink. So the one on the extreme left of the bunch will be pushed towards the left, and he'll be hoping he pushes one over the right as well. Not worked. He may have the top one. Didn't quite have the angle he wanted to. Just keep an eye on them. Just got him. I thought that red had slowed down. He probably hit it a fraction hard.
Yeah, and he could have done with hitting the join of the two reds rather than just the one red. And he had to put a bit of backspin so that the cue ball didn't stick on the red, but I think he's got one to the left corner. There you see it.
57.
Not far from the winning line in another frame. Stephen Hendry led 4-1.
61.
Could be 8 in a row. Has he got an angle on this red? Just enough.
62.
And just slotting them in as though they're over the pocket. That was a difficult shot made to look ridiculously easy.
69.
This is the first frame of the frames this morning, as we see Ronnie taking what would be frame ball.
70.
That Stephen Hendry hasn't really had a chance in this frame. So it doesn't hurt as much when you don't have a chance, but obviously the reason it hurt a little bit more this morning because that's 5 on the trot. A total of 8 on the trot since he was 4-1 in front.
77. 78.
And the nature of the game, Ronnie O'Sullivan broke off. Stephen couldn't see a safety, was forced into playing a long pot, didn't get it,
54.
and that's it. So as we say, no matter how good you are, when the other man's at the table potting balls, you can only watch. This is the one that Stephen couldn't see a safety,
90.
knew it was fraught with danger, and his worst fears have been realised.
81.
He's just rammed that in left-handed there. Well, he deserves a century. This has been absolutely top draw.
98.
All centuries are good.
99.
This has been very good.
And there you go. And why wouldn't you applaud that?
106.
His 8th century
108.
of the tournament. and the 54th of the tournament.
111.
The record stands at 68 in the tournament.
115.
It's not certain to be beaten. At the start of the tournament, there was a lot of talk
120.
whether it be 60 or above or less. I think 60 will be beaten. But this has been a
126.
masterclass in break building. Poetry in motion.
Pace this morning. Stephen's got no shot back into baulk, so he's having to play the famous dump shot, but he's not got it. Ronnie will take this on. That's short. Yeah, Stephen will be really disappointed he didn't reach the cushion, and the fact that yellow's off the spot now means that he's still on a colour. It's amazing how matches can drift away from you when he'd be sitting there feeling like he's not played a shot this morning, John. But he had chances in opening 3 frames. But the last 3, he's just sat and watched.
3.
Yes, and unlike us who've been enjoying the play of Ronnie also, Stephen won't be looking at it that way.
4.
He'll be itching to get on the table. But at the moment you're just getting a little bit concerned. I'm not certain where his next frame comes from.
$11. $12.
Couple of loose reds. Doesn't have the perfect angle to go onto the black, so he'll be looking at the angle next time, because the 4 reds just above the black spot, he'd love to go into those because he still have choice of red
19.
into each corner.
$20.
Now this is perfect, you see, he just plays into the 4 reds if he's got the angle to do so, and bound to be on one in the corner. There it is, you see. He just never misses a trick. And you just see the white go into the pack that goes in twice. There's the first
27.
kiss. And then just to bring things all into play, make sure the white's going in at speed. And this is why we talk about going into the bunch with a dead white. Ronnie never does. He always makes things happen. And to make that so it's not a dead white, you have to really get through the ball. He gets through it better than most.
28. $35. 36. $43. 44.
He just does everything so quickly when he's break building. You know, Hendry plays a bad safety, and all of a sudden 4 minutes later it's almost at frame ball again. 3 more reds and 3 killers. It'd have been 9 on the trot if you can win this frame. I'm sure Stephen Hendry, in his career
51.
at the Crucible, has never lost 9 on the trot. He lost 9-0 once in the UK Championship to Marcus
52.
Campbell. Marcus is a great player, but I know that Stephen was having a little bit of trouble with his cue at the time. So this will be the first time he's lost 9 on the trot since Marcus Campbell won 9 on the trot.
$59. $60.
Not perfect on the blue, so he could possibly play a little cannon here just to hold the cue ball. He'd like to be able to run by the pack if he can off 2 cushions. And he could run by off 2 cushions, and he's perfect. I wasn't sure whether that shot was on. That shot could be a frame winner. That was beautifully played. Could be back-to-back centuries.
66.
The applause tells you that the frame is over.
Doesn't seem to play well, Stephen Hendry, in second
72.
sessions against Ronnie. Remember a few years ago when it was 17-4, the second session they came in at 6-2. Hendry lost 7 on the trot to go to 13-2. But this is 9 on the trot, which is a record.
Made a break of 133 in the last frame, and the
80.
cue ball control was just, well, just poetry in motion.
81.
This, if anything, has been slightly better. He's cueing like a dream.
I mentioned in commentary when he was 9-7 in front of Mark Williams, he played 4 frames to win 13-7, and I thought it was the best 4 frames I'd seen for a long time at the Crucible. We're now talking
89.
of 6 or 7 frames on the trot that have been played in the same way, and it's all because Stephen didn't take his chances in the opening 3 frames. Ronnie has suddenly given a lift, the fact that he knows that Stephen is struggling to pot sometimes frame ball.
95.
If you let this man loose,
96.
you can see what he can do. Hendry's a genius, but undoubtedly Ronnie O'Sullivan is a genius.
102.
2 of the greatest players of all
103.
time. One of them is totally commanding this session.
$108.
Possible
110.
135 on, which will eclipse the 133 of the previous frame.
113. 117. 122.
2 total
128.
clearances on the trot. It just doesn't get any better than that. Stephen Hendry can only sit and watch. O'Sullivan in unstoppable form at the minute and goes further clear. And 10 frames to 4.
Just overcut it. He was trusting to look for position. This red goes into the right middle, far right corner. And Stephen must be thinking at the moment he cannot afford to make a mistake, and he's putting pressure on every shot he plays, safety or pots.
Very rarely do you see almost a look of resignment in a gentleman's face of Stephen's class, but he looked a little bit frustrated, and to think he's played 14.5 frames and he's up to 94% in pot success rate is amazing. I don't know what the highest success rate is over the best of 25. We'll try and find that out for you at some stage, but it's impossible to be 94%. I mean, it just is. You know, I would think over 25 frames, maybe 92% would be about the highest ever.
Well, he's having a close look, Ronnie.
6.
Does the red above the black go to the right corner? He's having a second look, so it must be tight. Or can he get through to the one? Well, if he could get to the one just to the right of the black, that would be the better red to pot. I think the other one definitely goes. That's the one he'd like. There's a gap between the red and the black for the red in the right corner. If he could pot that, he'd bring the black into play and available into both corner pockets. Looking for alternatives.
Yeah, Stephen had chances in the opening 3 frames. He's had a chance in this frame, and apart from that, I can't remember any more chances. So we're talking 4 chances in 6 frames. That's how good O'Sullivan has played this morning.
Seven.
I felt that all the other options were difficult to guarantee position, so just rolling that red. He knew he'd be leaving the blue. He can go left middle, but you would think he'd be far left corner. Got more control of the cue ball then.
Well, obviously the red on the pink spot pots, otherwise he would have played it in the far corner.
12.
Yeah, it just goes. The pink won't go, so that's a good back for the blue.
13.
Another example of just how smooth he gets through the ball.
I mean, how slow did he hit this screw shot, John? And got plenty of reaction.
Yeah, it's like the white stopped and then just give it a chance for the backspin and then took it, and it's just inch perfect on the blue. He's in full stride, no doubt about that.
And once again, you see, Ronnie knows to win the frame, he's got to get the black into play.
18.
And look where he's put the cue ball. Absolutely perfect. Pot the red, flick the red away from the black, end of racing.
19. $26. 27.
'Well, he's opened the reds, but it's gone slightly wrong.
34.
They've not broke as he hoped. He's got a red to the left middle, but it's a tricky one. 26 points the lead. Oh, it looked tricky. Lovely pot.
Yeah, sure.
And once again, lovely control of the cue ball. I know some people, Willie, criticise us for eulogising so much about Ronnie, but we've done the same with Stephen Hendry when he was at the peak of his powers. And having played the game at the top level, and you watch these players when they're playing at the best, like Ronnie has done this morning,
42.
you've just got to be so impressed. I make no apologies. If a player plays well, I think you've got to call it as it is. And Ronnie this morning has been absolutely magnificent. Okay, the first couple of frames, Stephen had chances and he'll be ruining those opportunities that went astray. But since then, Stephen has had no chance whatsoever against a barrage of breaks.
43. $49. $50.
Not over the winning line in this frame yet. He's 42 in front. That's gone astray. Green, brown, blue or pink he can play here. He plays the pink, well, left-handed. You can imagine him stunning off one cushion, dropping in behind the red on the left-hand side in the middle. He's trying to reach it. He'll play round the back of the red probably, just to give himself choice of pockets. See, that's the reason he played round the back, and he's just hitting the ball as good as you can hit it. As good as you can hit it.
56.
He knows this is a big ball though. This is a blind pocket. Two more reds, two colours needed.
Left-handed, right-handed. Just checking the scoreboard. 49 the lead. Colour, one more red required. The next red isn't obvious. Well, he played an excellent shot there. He's not perfect on this red, but he's only got to roll it in to go 56 ahead with only 51 remaining. No heroics.
54.
Sometimes out there, John, it's hard to add up, isn't it? We've all been there, and Ronnie's had about 10 looks at the scoreboard. In a minute he'll realise he's won this frame, barring snookers.
$71.
Well, past the point where Stephen Hendry will bother coming back to the table.
72.
Well, I've seen some sessions of snooker, John, but you can't play better than this.
No, the last frame he made a break of 135. Frame before 133.
78.
And you wouldn't bet against a
79.
third century in succession. And look at the pot success now, up to 95% and rising. Too easy for Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's getting very hard for Stephen Hendry. It loses another one. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads 11-4.
Here, there again, you see, when things are not going right for you, every little kiss goes wrong. He's gone into the bunch twice, Stephen got on nothing. He's played a safety shot there, pushed it into a potable position, and if this red goes in, that 44-point lead will disappear very quickly.
1.
This kiss is not bound to work because he's going to play the kiss on the 3 reds to the left, full ball, and push through them. If the red just below the pink will pot, he may not play the kiss here because it's not a kiss that you can guarantee getting onto a red. So he's looking at the middle red. If he pushes through that red, it's not guaranteed to be on one. So it remains to be seen whether he plays the loose one, but he's playing it. He's playing the cannon. There's the middle red. Now is he on one? You betcha.
8. Nine. 11. 12. 18. 19. Yeah.
Well, he got a heavy contact there and it nearly threw the red offline. I think he may have played a little bit of right hand side that just turned the red over, but it went in. Stephen, when he was at the table, probably thought he was going to put his first frame on the scoreboard. It's looking doubtful now. With these reds in the open and Ronnie only 18 points behind.
26.
He's favourite.
Yes, in this run of breaks he's had, I can't
27.
remember him ever playing a kiss and not getting it perfect. I can't remember him ever playing for a loose red and not getting on it. When he's gone in the bunch, he's always left himself options. This has just been about as good as you can see, and this Crucible crowd, I'm sure, realise that. They're watching a genius at work.
34.
I'm sure most people in the auditorium have
35.
played snooker now and again, and there's probably a few players in here, John, that have made the odd 100 break. There's a lot of club snooker played around the country. There'll be a few people thinking, well, I've made the 100 before, but they haven't made them look as easy as this. He's smiling,
42.
he's had one.
43.
I mentioned that 44-point lead would evaporate very quickly. After this black, it's gone.
$50. 51. 58.
This looks to be the only difficult shot left. But as with most of them, right in the heart of the pocket. There you see it, 21 ahead,
65.
27 remaining, yellow and green.
$67.
As we've said before, left-handed, right-handed, no difference.
But the angle he had on the yellow there, to be able to generate the speed left-handed, that was very, very good. I think the adrenaline has gone through Ronnie's arm there. He knows he's won a session 8-0, which is a feather in his cap. And that's why he's overhit the green. Well, it doesn't get any better than that, and barring snookers, Ronnie O'Sullivan
70.
has won all 8.
And it looked to me as though Stephen could have played it as a shot for nothing. But as I say, he's got to play error-free, so maybe he's erring on the side of caution. But he'll have to play better safety shots than that.
1. Six. Seven. $14.
There are loose reds, but what O'Sullivan is an absolute master of is opening the bunch without losing position.
$15. $22. 23. $30. 31.
Well, if he's straight on the black, it's restricted his positional options from that ball.
Well, he can't get through to the pink, so this isn't straightforward, this, because as we can see, being straight, if he plays the screw back, he's going to collide with the red near the right-hand cushion, so that won't help. Good play for the pink, and lucky to have it as a second option.
37. $38.
Still one red at the bottom of the cluster that is available, that he can play for. Usually in those situations, Ronnie leaves himself a little low, so in potting the red, he can
44.
bring other reds into play. And that's the case here.
45.
Made certain he was back in the middle of the table with that cue ball. But he only brought one red into play.
48. $49.
Well, Hendry knows that this frame is over for him if O'Sullivan can get the bunch open.
We've come to expect nothing less. He played the cannon.
57.
He hit the perfect red to split them open. It's another frame in the bag.
$63. 64.
So O'Sullivan has picked up where he left off at lunchtime.
$70. 71.
An exhibition of supreme skill.
$78. 79.
So can O'Sullivan make his 10th century of this championship?
86. 87.
Left himself nicely on the blue to come off the top cushion. Can he just nudge the red? Unlucky.
92.
It looks as if it's automatic.
It's frighteningly good.
99. 104.
O'Sullivan certainly doing his bit towards setting a new record of total centuries for the championship.
108.
This is the 58th. The record is 68.
113. 119.
O'Sullivan's third total clearance of the day. You can't argue with perfection. That's 12 frames in a row for O'Sullivan. He leads by 13 frames to 4.